Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is Dominique, aka Mr. Kid Thunder 2, coming back to you guys for another video. So if you don't know who I am, I'm currently at Bullet for the Army, and I shoot and I vlog about my experiences in the Army. So today this video is actually going to be on the very first day, my very first day of Army basic training. So with this video, hopefully you will be able to get an understanding or a view of how your first day will go. I'm going to start from my last day at reception, or as I called it, pre-basic. So it's not going to be all the days through reception, because what reception is somewhere that gets you ready to go to basic training. They give you shots, they issue uniforms, they issue PTs, they take your very first Army picture with the flag in the back, and you guys know the one I'm talking about, right? They basically get you ready to ship to basic training. Reception is at a totally different place than basic training. I think it's probably like a mile. I did basic training at the wonderful Fort Jackson. I'll start from the morning that I was going to ship. So picture it about 10 a.m. and you're sitting outside. You're sitting on top of these green duffel bags. And you're sitting outside, you're all lined up. There's about 180 people lined up. And you're sitting there waiting to ship out. The whole morning before, you're doing PCIs and PCCs of your green duffel bag. You're checking to make sure everything is in there, and everything that is going to be, everything that you're going to need at basic is going to be in there. You have drill sergeants at the reception, or pre-basic, whatever you want to call it. There are drill sergeants there. So we're sitting on top of the bags, and eventually everybody gets issued a note card. This is literally my exact note card that I got issued at basic. So what happened is, on this note card is a number. The number corresponds to the platoon you're going to be in. At basic training, each company has probably at max 5 platoons, but mine, the standard I think is 4, and my number was the second one. So I went to second platoon, the best platoon out there. So what ended up happening was I got my number. They loaded up the buses, these big white buses, by numbers. Eventually they called number 2. I loaded up onto the bus. I had another green duffel bag that was actually put on an LMTV that was driven over there. So I get up on the bus and I get my green bag and I hold it, right? I'm holding my green bag and my face is supposed to be like down into the, looking at the bag. We're driving, and then the drill sergeant that's on there, because the drill sergeant that rode on the bus, he was like, raise your hand if you're 09 Sierra. So I raised my hand, and he lets us know from the jump, even though you're a 9 Sierra, that's my MOS, even though you're a 09 Sierra, you're not going to be treated any different. And I was like, wow. He lets us know from the first day, you're a specialist, but we're still going to call you private. I was like, well, no special treatment there. So what ended up happening is I get there, and as soon as he gets off the bus first, right? And then we load off the bus, and he starts yelling, run the Delta company, it's the second company over there. And so I'm running with my bag, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm running with my bag, And there's like all these drill sergeants lined up, yelling at you, run over there, you're going to Delta, run over there. Because we don't know where we're going. All we know is we're getting yelled at, like continuously. They're like, run over there, run over there, run over there, run over there, run over there. I'm just like, oh my God, okay. I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, holy crap, holy crap. Because keep in mind, I didn't even know that basic was going to have any yelling at all. Because the research I did actually didn't say that there was going to be any yelling, but my research must have been bad. But anyway, so we run over there, and then there's a drill sergeant that's pointing us all, lining up. So he's lining us all up, and so we're all sitting there, and we're all just like standing there, and these green duffel bags are at our feet. And then I lied to you not, there was an ambulance pulled up there, and there was our first sergeant and our commander. A commander is an 03, which is a captain. A first sergeant is an E8, and they're sitting there next to an ambulance. They're like in front of the breezeway of Delta Company. And then all of us are under one breezeway, and they line us all up, and we do this bag drill. Like this was a workout. We do this, I lie to you not, for like an hour and 30 minutes. We got one duffel bag full, just chock, full of stuff. And at one point it's put it on the ground, then it's hold it to you, and then it's lift it up over your head. I lie to you not, for an hour and 45 minutes. That was the toughest workout I've ever had in my life. Like, lie to you not. I've done some pretty tough things, but an hour and 45 minutes of that, like, yeah, that was tough. So they smoke us like that. They're yelling at you. They get up on your face. Oh, you gonna drop the bag? People drop the bag, but you better pick that effing bag up, yada yada. You better get there all up in your face with the drill sergeant hats, and you're just trying to. You're sweating profusely. You're just sweating. People's hats are falling off. It's just like chaos, and they're just all up in your face. So after they get done smoking us, I think 1 or 2 people go in the ambulance to go to the hospital because they just could not take it. And then, so there's 4 breezeways in Delta Company. Eventually, each drill sergeant stands at a breezeway, and then you start yelling out numbers, and that's when your platoon number comes in handy. So I'm number 2. So 2 was called, and then I ran over to the 2nd breezeway where my drill sergeant was at. So we line up again. He lines us all up. After every platoon is called, every drill sergeant lines their people up, and then he points. He says, "You see over there? See all those green bags?" And so we came with 2 duffel bags. That's your other green bag. Go run and get it. You have 3 minutes. So everybody breaks off in this sprint from every single platoon. Keep in mind, this is like, every platoon has probably about 40 people in it, because each squad has about 10 people in it. So you got 160 people running over there, 160 privates, because every platoon only had about 4 or 5 09 Sierras. So every platoon, there was probably 1/10 of every platoon was made up of 09 Sierras. So everybody ran over there. You found your bag, you ran back. Of course, you didn't get back in time, so you didn't. We got smoked for about the next probably 30 minutes in push-ups and sit-ups, because they were just an impossible hit time. You knew you weren't going to get there. So we get the bag, we get back, we go over to behind the breezeways in some sand. We open up all our duffel bags, we dump it out, they check to make sure you have everything, and then we're all scared. The CO walked around asking every platoon who are the 09 Sierras. We raised our hand, and then yeah, that was that. We pack up all our stuff and we leave it all outside. We go upstairs to a classroom, and we have a classroom meeting. Then we come back downstairs. We have our first and last phone call. You have a phone call. People were breaking down in tears. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. People were crying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what the? And then so after that was done, we've been getting smoked. It was just so tiring. They march us to the DFAC. Now this is where it gets bad. We line up, and we eventually get into the line. We're supposed to sidestep through the line and everything. It was hard because they're all yelling in the face. So everybody's all screwed up. And I'm just like, what the heck? I'm just sitting there like, what the heck is going on? Why are they yelling like this? I just could not understand it. And they're yelling, and people are trying to get their food and bring it to the table, and they flip people's food off their trays, and they're frantically running around crying. There was a lot of crying today. There was a lot of crying on this day. Like, it was just so much crying. I'm just sitting there, I'm just trying to eat my food and like get through the line by sidestepping. You couldn't pick, you got to get through super fast. And you sit down, you got 7 minutes to eat, boom, you get up 7 minutes, and then eventually your table's called, you walk around and you run outside. And then when you're running around the DFAC, which is the dining facility, you sit out there, you wait for your drill sergeant, they march you back, then eventually they march us up to the barracks, and then every drill sergeant went to the respective men's bay, and the women drill sergeant went to the women's bay, and then you had this long brief about how to make a bed. So when you're in the basic training, you have to learn how to do hospital corners, right? Hospital corners are, I guess it's just a way to make a bed. There are 90-degree angles on a sheet. And you can look up how to make a military style bed or how to do hospital corners on a military bed or something like that. And it's one of the most important things. So every day after that, your bed had to be made up, and it had to be made up super nice and super tight and super clean. Your attention to detail had to be immaculate. So I taught you how to make a bed with a couple sheets, 2 blankets, and a pillow. And that was basically almost the end of the day after that. After that, we were all just like looking at each other, like just exhausted. And then, so we went, and then, there's a huge loudspeaker, right? Every bay or barracks or dorm seated 52 bunks, and there's a huge loudspeaker that was in every single one. And this one went off and said, "Privates, get downstairs now. Summer PTs and flip-flops." They said summer PTs and flip-flops. We were just like, what the heck? Flip-flops? You know how cold it is outside? We gotta keep my first day of basic was on October 31st. So I'm just like, we were all like, what the heck? So then we run downstairs in our flip-flops and our PTs, our summer PTs, and then we line up by platoon again, and they start handing out candy bars. Everybody's like, what? Y'all just smoked and killed us today, but you're giving us candy bars? And protein bars to be exact. And so they give that to us, and then they tell us,